Hey, Brian here from quantlabs.net. I'm going to show you probably the most confusing part of this whole system regarding position management. What I'm specifically talking about is the ability to uh, weight all your dollars that you want to deploy from your trading account, all your capital, on the percentage on how you want to allocate percentage of that capital to a particular position, short and long. So I've started the process. In my database, I've got my positions. I've added 4 new columns. Specifically, we're going to use beta for both the short and long. The long quantity, which is really a number of shares available that we're going to buy, and that's a short, and the long quantity, the number of shares. Now, what gets really confusing is the actual process and the workflow of it, which basically has led me to a series of questions. Now, let me just run this little script, and I'm going to show you what it does. There's a lot of number crunching here to be able to get the final allocated portfolio percentage, both for the long and the short. And that's the percentage out of your total portfolio, whatever you're willing to trade. Now, there's a little few definitions we need to cover. We have portfolio, and then within the portfolio we may have what they call themes. Themes are your short and your long, but you could have multiple shorts and longs within the same theoretical position, if that makes sense. So you could have, like, I don't know, 2 longs and 2 shorts in one trade. And that is used specifically for hedging purposes, which could involve cross currency exchange, trade from, let's say, a U.S. equity using a third equity, maybe in UK. So you got the exchange rate between the U.S. and the British pound to worry about. And maybe on the short side, you may have another series of trades as well that are all U.S. So you have various different trades that you can open up. For me, I'm going to keep it really simple, just classic pair trading. For instance, Coke and Pepsi, and that's it. I'm not interested in doing these cross pair tradings. I think that's a little too far advanced for me. And I think there's other ways to go about to research the risk and stuff. I do want to keep this automated system as simple as possible. So meaning the trade that I open up will be all in the same region, all in the same exchange rates. There's no cross-border exchange rates I have to worry about on any trades. So, like I said, enough blabbing. Let's run this puppy. So it's going to do a query. Let me just go through the code real fast. I have some parameters I've set up. Like I said, we have our portfolio. We've got our theme that we set, how much allocation we're going to set for margin, and that sort of thing. We also have our database going to run a massive query. Now we're only going to worry about trades that have no exit positions. So essentially what we want is just only open up positions or a query, only those that have no, basically no exits. This is wrong. It should be no exit price, or where exit price is equal to 0. So that's a lot of bugs in here you'll find. This is brand new. So essentially what we're doing is we close out our database query and all that. We create a position table. I've shown that before. And essentially what we're doing is we want to calculate our beta for all our open positions. So we do a calculation of the beta on the short and the long, and then we track that. And that's where in the database we get the beta here, the long and short of that trade, that's open. That has not been exited, meaning it's been closed. So from there, we try to calculate a total beta. We calculate a total long and a total short of both betas. Get a total long beta. Total beta. Now, this is where it gets confusing. We haven't even really started yet. We have ratios that we keep track of, percentage totals. We do a number of calculations on, for instance, weight percentage for the long, track the long beta total, weight percentage total, so on and so forth. We track the short, long, short ratio total, and the short, long, short ratio total. It just continues. We got a couple more loops here. We track total beta, as we said. We have our long, short ratio total, as well as we do another loop where we track our long, short ratio for the long and the weight percentage of it. That's not confusing. We do the same thing with the short. We also calculate the short position, the short percentage of that trade, and the long percentage. That's a total, obviously. And then we track the total percentages of both the long and the short. Confusing, eh? Anyways, we do one last loop. Here we calculate our position percentage. Now, here's one of the questions that I wanted to know. Do we use the database entry price, short and long entry price, or do we use the current market close? Now, this is where it gets very confusing. Maybe you can help me out here. Huh? So, we run this the first time, our very first trade, we get that easy. What happens when we run, do all these queries against the database, do all these calculations, calculating all our positions, but we have this new trade we're going to put on. What total position or what pricing do we use in right here? This is to calculate our share price. Now that share price that I'm referring to is that the current market price, the closing price, or is that from the database? See the confusion. Now there's one last question. All right, let me just pull up both questions. So I'm gonna put this in my blog. If you kind of understand this, it's a lot. As I said, this is the most confusing to develop. Lots of outstanding questions, and there's going to be a lot of bugs in this as well. So, okay, like I said, we got the first trade done. We got weight allocation of the total portfolio, no problem. Now, when we rerun the script for a new position, what happens to the current open positions? Do we reallocate the weighting of the capital already deployed? And that's where it gets confusing. Like, do we rebalance it and recalibrate it? Let me know what you think. Now, let's say on a new trade, but we have no remaining capital. Do we close out other current positions? Or do we just open up a new position? Or not do it at all? I've already covered this second question. So yeah, there's a lot of open-ended scenarios here that I need to cover off because this is an automated trading system. So I have to cover off all the angles. So as I said, enough of the code. So here's the script results. If you haven't seen my beta video and a calculating video of beta, what I've done is I've created a video and it shows a script that creates these type of charts against performance of beta against the GSPC, which is the the S&P 500. Yeah, this script basically just goes in and does all the number crunching I just showed you. So nothing fancy there. So hopefully you can help me out in understanding these questions. And I might even do a whole meetup webinar about it, because it is one of those confusing things that I think it's important to cover off properly. But like I said, I'll put these questions in my blog. If you can help out, that'd be awesome. And let me know what you think of this, because this part, if anything I've seen so far, everything else has been straight up math. This is straight up math as well. It's just the confusing part is making sure I do the right things, running the right workflow in the right correct order, and applying the right data and all that with the database. Hopefully this will somewhat help you out, as I can now move on to other areas, finishing up these core scripts. I just, to be honest, with this particular script, all I care about is just getting numbers, honestly, just at this point. I don't care if they're right or wrong, because I got a lot of other stuff here. Building this automated trading system sounds easy, but there's a lot more to it than just building a model, a trading strategy, and boom, 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 watching the profit come in. It's not like that. As you can see, this is one of those. I've never really addressed this type of topic myself, but here I am talking about it. Anyways, this will be part of my system, reporting data analytics system coming down the pipes. So now I'm going to start building a system, start actually testing this puppy out from end to end, let it run against Yahoo data, see how it works. A lot of debugging ahead, I'm sure of it. A lot of tweaking and optimizing, and so forth. So keep your eyes peeled. We're now entering into the next phase of building out this thing from a complete end-to-end process. As I said, this is the last core script I'll be showing, and just more focusing on the hardware, setting this puppy up, and then maybe doing a couple of weeks or a week of reports and seeing what happens with the system, and let you see the results, and go from there. Talk to you later.